a quorum with the chair, Mr. Valleja, representing Ken Adams, present. Is there a motion to call to order the meeting of the Housing Trust Fund Corporation?
Motion.
And a second.
Second.
The members will also be meeting in their capacity as members of the Audit and Governance Committees. Is there a motion to call to order the Audit and Governance Committee meeting?
Motion.
And a second. Thank you. As items are presented to the board throughout today's meetings, these motions and seconds will be used unless specific items call for a different vote or unless any board member or committee member wishes to record his or her vote differently. The first item on the agenda is approval of the minutes held on January 24th, 2019, of the meeting held on January 24th, 2019. If there are no questions or comments, the minutes will be deemed approved. Next is a resolution authorizing an award under the Rural and Urban Community Investment Fund. Rebecca.
I am here to present a request for an award of $2 million in Community Investment Fund monies for the 1080 Washington Avenue apartment located in the Bronx. This project has 154 units of residential housing. It is a senior and supportive project. 100% of the units are available to households at or below 60% of AMI. The project will have 47 units that have an ESHI award. That ESHI award is from the Office of Temporary and Disability Assistance. The award is to the Fortune Society, and the project will use the HTFC's SIF investment to fund the construction of the community facility space on the first floor of the building. The services will be provided within that space by the Fortune Society. So I just want to distinguish between the services provided by the Fortune Society to the residents of 1080 Washington and the services that Fortune Society will provide using the community facility space on the ground floor. So there are community social services provided and funded by the ESHI award that are provided to the residents of 1080 Washington, and those services will be available only to the residents of 1080 Washington. And there will be services that the Fortune Society would like to provide to the public at large via the first floor community facility space. So the Fortune Society is currently, their headquarters are located in Long Island City, and they have satellite offices throughout the city. And they anticipate that they'll lose their lease on their Long Island City space in about 4 to 5 years. So what they would like to do is utilize I think it's 5,600 square feet in 1080 Washington Avenue in order to move some of their services to 1080 Washington to the Bronx, to the Morrisania neighborhood in the Bronx, where currently they're serving already a large percentage of the individuals who are formerly incarcerated or in danger of criminal justice involvement, and be able to provide locally based services in the Bronx.
I thought you said when you started that their office is in Long Island City?
Their headquarters is in Long Island City.
So are they moving like office staff, or they're moving program space?
They intend to move some of both.
Both.
Yeah.
And I have a unrelated question. For the ESHI award, is it providing rental subsidy and service dollars?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
How does the rental subsidy, what do the tenants pay? The formerly incarcerated. I don't think I've seen one of these or asked the question.
The tenants, the rent in this deal, it's a $25,000 ESHI award, which is typical for a New York City deal. It is it's definitely not to our advantage on the real estate side, because this is one of the few deals where only 25% of said ESHI award is going towards rent, 75% towards services.
But is the rent set at like 60
It's
and
50.
the tenant 50, and the tenant's going to pay 50, or the tenant's going to pay like
So the
3 to 40?
tenant pays whatever their SSI.
They'll just pay
Or public
30% of their...
assistance, 30% of their income.
Okay.
Right,
Or
each guy's
if
covered-
they have a job. But we don't think they have a job.
30% of their income.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they'll definitely be homeless because HPD's in the deal. So
But they're formerly incarcerated via the shelter system?
yes,
Okay.
that is likely the definition set forth.
I'm sure those people would find it nice if they could bypass a shelter on their way from incarceration to...
I
But
am
realize
sure
it's
that will be a
preaching to the
that will
choir.
be a conversation for OTDA and HPD on how to deal with that, those
Yeah.
mechanics. But
So this SIF is going towards the build-out of the commercial space?
yes,
The community facilities.
Facility space. And there'll be... What sort of services do they provide Are they like reincarceration services, or they have other services that they do?
They will provide counseling, case management, vocational services, and health-related services.
Cool.
So they do, and apparently they do kind of multiple types of therapy, one-on-one group sessions, etc.
I think what makes this
great.
a stronger selling point than we do see other instances where nonprofits want to create. Oh, I want my office space in this community facility, but it's like not ground floor, and this is clearly like ground floor window access. They are visible in a way to the larger community versus in those other deals sometimes we see, and it's an ongoing discussion about where is this space located in the building, and is it truly
Community.
open to the community for use? And given, I think, sort of the architectural design here, it is obvious that the intention was to create a space that was more outward facing.
That's great.
But it's a back and forth with the team.
And I'll just note that the community board was actually very supportive of having a space on the ground floor because they noted that there's a very high percentage of the community that has criminal justice history and ongoing involvement, and they felt like it would be beneficial to have the services locally available.
Great. Love it.
Okay, if there are no further questions, now for the board is resolution authorizing an award under the Rural and Community Development Investment Fund. Assuming the first and second previously entered, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the resolution adopted. Next before the board is a resolution authorizing awards to the neighborhood and rural preservation companies for assistance with education and outreach. Rachel?
Yeah, hi. Can everyone hear me and see me fine?
Yep.
Great. So this is to seek approval from the board to award 3 rural and neighborhood preservation companies that we competitively selected through an RFP process last fall. And we had the request for proposal was aimed to get 4 rural and neighborhood preservation companies to award 4 organizations to cover 4 areas of the state. We did not receive any applicants in one of the areas of the state, being the Capital Region and North Country, so we are proposing today to award applicants in the other 3 areas. It would be Hudson River Housing to cover the Hudson Valley, Cayuga County Homesite Development Corporation, home headquarters, to cover Central New York in the Southern Tier, and the Rural Housing Opportunities Corporation, Pastone, to cover Western New York. And in terms of administering the program in the Capital Region and North Country, we will hire and host vistas with HCR staff at our office in Albany. So each award would be $245,062.
This is like the special money.
This is, the MPP, RPP, it's the JP Morgan money. And we have an approved plan from DOB to spend it. And so each organization will hire an education and outreach associate who will recruit, host, and supervise the 2 VISTA volunteers that will be located at their offices.
Okay, can I
All
ask
for
an
the
unrelated
purpose.
question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say all for the purpose of homeownership preservation.
Particularly manufactured.
Particularly manufactured housing, but all homeownership preservation.
Chris, I have a unrelated question. So when I did my budget testimony and people gave me a hard time about the RPCs going back to their pre-JP Morgan level, the response, which was what I was trained to say, so like a good puppy, I said it. The response I got was, that's not necessarily like our understanding, or we don't agree with that position, whatever. But I thought that actually was true.
That is true.
No, it was clearly broadcasted to the groups that there was no guarantee for continued funding. They all knew that. They were advised to make investments that would put them in a better position after the funding had decreased. What you missed after you left is Blair Sebastian gave testimony about his feelings of the program. And I believe it was Simbowitz asked him, well, you're telling me there's going to be a 30% decrease in production. Or he said, there's a 30% decrease. How's that going to impact you? And he said, well, our production would drop by 30%. And I thought to myself, if their funding increased by 70% 4 years ago, I didn't see any 70% increase. So, it's kind of interesting to see people's positions on that, but it was well advertised, and it's not true that they didn't know.
Okay, good, thanks. Back to the thing, looks fine to me, I don't have any questions.
Done.
Then, if there are no further questions, then assuming now before the board is resolution authorizing awards to the neighborhood and rural preservation companies for assistance with education and outreach, assuming the first and second previously entered. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion is carried and the resolution adopted. Item 4, relating to the resolution authorizing funding for tenant reallocation costs, has been removed from the agenda. Item 5 is a resolution ratifying the approval of awards under the Community Development Block Grant Program. On December 17, 2018, the members authorized awards in writing pursuant to Article 3 of the bylaws, Article 3, Section 5 of the bylaws, which allows for written authorization. We're now going to ratify that resolution, but if anybody has any questions, Jason is here to answer them.
Nope.
Then if there are no questions, now before the board's resolution ratifying the prior written authorization approving awards under the Community Development Block Grant funding, assuming the first and second previously entered. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the resolution adopted. The next, similarly, now before the board is a resolution ratifying prior written approval of awards under the New York Main Street Program. Similarly, on December 17, 2018, the board provided written authorization for those awards. We're now going to ratify them unless anybody has questions. If there are no questions, then now before the board is a resolution ratifying the approval of awards under the New York Main Street Program, assuming the first and second previously entered. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The motions are carried and the resolution adopted. If there are no remaining questions or comments, can I please have a motion to adjourn today's meeting of the HTFC board as well as the HTFC governance and audit committees?
Alex, you notice we're awarding to the Village of Cuba?
Oh, where? I missed that one. There's a Cuba in Texas, too, I think.
Bottom of the page, the second page of the awards.
Oh.
I didn't realize Cuba was
There's a Cuba in the Caribbean, I've heard, too.
Screwed that place up.
Yes.
Otherwise,
Village of
I'd still
Cuba
be there.
Main Street Revitalization Project. There you go.
I wonder
Sorry.
if they say Cuba or Cuba.
I digress. I'm guessing they probably say Cuba.
How dare you
I
digress?
don't know. Jason and Chris might know that.
Village of
It's
Cuba.
Cuba. It's Cuba.
It's Cuba.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is watch their use of the money.
We do.
Yes.
We know.
All right, so assuming the first and second previously entered, all in favor of adjourning today's meetings and
Aye.
committee meetings?
Aye.
Motion to carry, the resolution adopted. I'm suspecting that our next meeting is on or about March 7th, 2019. Thanks, everybody.
They're using it to